Make us famous, please.
Okay. So yeah, who wants to go first, Angela or Owen?
I'm happy to. Shall I go first?
Okay. Right. I'm gonna make sharing for. Okay, I think you should be able to share your screen. Oh, nice.
See?
Yes.
Oh, bad start. All right. So can you also see me, or can you just see the screen?
Yeah.
So that's enough. Yeah, so yeah, as I said, I'm Owen, and just gonna do a small talk about my sort of online business. But I guess it's important to know that it's more, maybe it's good that I go first as well, because mine is more something which is like starting and something that I'm turning into a business rather than like a long-standing thing, which has been going for a long time. But most of it, as you'll see from this sort of little man, is used in quite a lot of the stuff I do. So basically, I was educated as sort of sociologist, and then I specified in migration. But then I sort of found out over the last 2 years that I quite liked making art, and I did that more and more in my spare time. And the sort of business I have is to make pieces of art, sell prints, and put the art onto clothing and sell that clothing. So I think I'm just going to try and take you through like the way I got to the stage I'm at now. And the stage I'm at now is sort of selling things through a website that I'm building at the moment. And also just try and give you maybe some like practical tips and things to remember when you're starting out. Like I realize like when I'm speaking, like not everybody has the same network. And you have to take that into account. Like when I'm talking about the things I'm talking about, there might be some tips I give for you think, oh, that doesn't actually like apply to me, but then some of the tips might apply to you more. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Yeah, so what have I done so far? So basically I sort of started a couple of years ago making little sketches. I made a lot of them actually in my Danish class when I was feeling a little bit bored. So sometimes the sort of creativity came at a weird time. It wasn't necessarily when I was just like sitting down trying to make things. It was actually at different times, like sometimes at quite sort of surprising times. This is like one example of the prints I sell. And this sort of came from, so I try and take you through this process because maybe even like, obviously this is specifically about like illustration and art, but maybe it also applies to like how you can start something quite small, then in an unexpected way it can grow. So yeah, when I was actually just like doodling tiny little stick figures, like these people you see in the picture. And then I guess I found them quite funny and I thought they looked pretty good. And then I started to slowly think, oh, so I don't have any skills with the computer, like making art, I'm not educated in that way. So how can I put them into different situations? And I actually started off, maybe I'd just take a picture of it with my phone and then, I put it onto my computer. And then I found a program I'll talk about later, which enables you, it's a bit like Photoshop, and it enables you to color everything in the way you want. So I was starting off just with doodles and then I sort of colored them, and slowly I kind of got the skill. I wouldn't say I'm like massively educated in it now, but like I got the skills to be able to make these sort of larger pieces of art. And then as I sort of went through, I started making different things and I'd sort of try and see the opportunities around me to apply like what I was doing. So this is an example. These are Volt riders. I don't know if you've seen Volt riders like cycling around Copenhagen, but I actually did my thesis on Volt riders, and I used to be a Volt rider myself. And I think again, I was actually sitting there doodling at a weird time, hopefully not at work, obviously. And I sort of came up with this idea, and then so I actually put this on my thesis, and I had a few different things like this on my thesis when I was finishing it, and also like sent this to a local newspaper, which they put in an article about Volt, because they're really, Volt it's quite a big talking point. But I guess the reason I included this is just because it's an example of applying what you do to an opportunity that might come into your life, so like, yeah, I can do this. I realize Volt is an important issue. I'm working with it. I'm going to like apply my skills to that. This is another example, I guess, of like applying parts of your life to what you're doing. So I play tennis quite a lot. I've always played tennis, and I thought, one day I was like, I'll make a little sketch of they're like the 4 best. I don't know if any of you follow tennis, probably not, but they're like the 4. You've probably heard of Roger Federer. He's an extremely famous person. So one of them is Roger Federer, and then the other 3 are also very famous tennis players. So I sort of made this, and I made it into clothing, but I'll take you through like how I actually made it into clothing. But this was probably at a stage, again, this isn't incredibly advanced, but like I was probably getting a little bit better at using these computer programs to make the art at this stage, because they're a bit more advanced, And then on the right actually is I don't know this model. She comes free with the website, which I feel a bit weird about, but she must have agreed to it. And this is an example of me using the illustrations I make and turning them into clothing and prints. But also, because I play tennis and I've got a few tennis friends, my whole family play tennis and stuff, that was like a good group to sell it to, so I've sold quite a lot of these tennis t-shirts and tennis prints because they like tennis, so that's another example of like using something in your life and maybe like pushing your business or your idea a little bit towards the thing you already know, and maybe I did it with a little extra tennis passion because of how much I care about the tennis. So this is something I was thinking. This is one of the characters like I kind of use quite a lot, and I was just thinking that often when I was sort of in the early stages of doing all of these things, I would, if I ever had an idea about the business or about what I was making, I'd always like write it down in my iPhone notes. So it's sort of like if you come up with a plan or an idea or something you think will be good, don't lose it. Like always keep it with you. And if you have a random idea, like how can you change that idea into something? So like with this particular art business, I started drawing these quite fat white men, and then I realized that I could always put them into a different situation and like make jokes out of them. And actually I started using them in a philosophy magazine, where I just wrote to them randomly, and I realized I can keep on using these like over and over again. This is actually a cartoon I made for a philosophy magazine, because he called me and he said, I need you to make something. I'm not even sure I understand it myself. It was a very complicated article, but it was about human beings thinking that only we exist. Like to me, only Owen exists, no one else. You're all just a part of my mind. And these men I sort of applied them to that idea and then used it in that way. But that sort of brings me on to a bit more of a practical way, which could apply to a lot of people, is that I guess you always need to be looking for contacts. Like I said at the beginning, it's not necessarily even like the amount of contacts we have, especially when we move to another country. So I might have more contacts than somebody who's only just come to Denmark, and I might have very little contacts in Copenhagen compared to a Dane who's been here their whole life. So in that way, with a business, I guess you always have to, and something I've done quite well so far, I think, is always just try and reach out to people. So actually, I drew this. The sketch you see on the screen is it's a sort of cartoon I just did because I found it funny, and it's about a Greek god who was punished, and he always had to push a big stone up a hill for his whole life, and that was all he could do. And I was trying to say that what we're experiencing with the corona pandemic is also a similar task. We're always pushing this thing up a hill, but then just when we think we've made it to the top, rolls down again. But anyway, when I did that, I sent an email to a guy who has a famous philosophy podcast, and then a magazine called Philosophy Now. I never heard anything from the podcast guy, which is a shame because I really like his podcast, and he completely ignored me. But I still listen to his podcast. And then I did get a response from Philosophy Now, and they said to me, right now we don't have an art budget, but we'll take your cartoon and put it in there. And obviously, you have to decide those things yourself. Maybe when you're starting something, you have to make a few sacrifices if you can, and think, is it better if people see my art and it's out in the world, or do I insist on having to be paid straight away? Obviously, that's different if you have a business where you're paying money for what you're doing. You can't just go around doing things for free. But I guess because in my situation, I'm not really spending much money on what I'm making, then I was able to do that. So I would definitely advise to make contact with as many people as possible. And I guess you can't really be embarrassed about being rejected about it, because like I said, this guy just ignored me. But I think you have to do that. I mean, I sent my tennis one to a tennis magazine, and they didn't take it. I can't believe it. There's not even much tennis art in the world. And I got rejected there as well. But I mean, you have to sort of, be a bit, not brave, but don't take too much offense about it, and try and reach out to many people, because sometimes it will work out. I wrote here Super Time Books because this is, again, a bit of luck from my network, but someone I was working at a bar with in Copenhagen recently started this sort of publishing company where they sell things, and creative people around Copenhagen can contribute to it. And they offered, they said, it'd be cool if we could sell some of your prints and some of your clothing on their website. And when they mentioned that to me, I sort of, showed my interest and thought, that's a good idea, because more, then I can use their network as well as my own network. And that might be the case for you. You might just be talking to somebody and you realize, they're doing something. I can connect my product to what they're doing. It could even be with your lasagna business, your potential lasagna business, Sylvia. You might meet someone making a normal pasta and realize that actually they could help advertise your lasagna business. Could be a similar type of thing, and use your friends and the people you speak to. Obviously, everyone's got different networks, but like use what you do have. And yeah, I've had to use what I have because, like I said, I don't, I'm not from Denmark. Maybe it would be a bit easier for me. I'm back home in England. This is like not an online thing, but a piece of art I made recently. And I included that today because I actually also like, I know there's a yoga studio, which I'm a part of, and also Sylvia's a part of it, actually. The Rurt yoga studio. And I thought today, they said in an email to us they've done their studio, so it's looking super cool and stuff. And I thought, oh, you know what? It'd be nice if I told them they could have my painting if they want, because I thought it quite fits the place. So that was like another thing of like seeing an opportunity. And I also thought, yeah, from like a business perspective, I guess more people would see it if they put it up there than in my room, so maybe lots of people, you can't see it actually, but it's got a little OGH Savage written at the bottom. I think actually this is an old photo and it now has it, but so yeah, no, that was, and I didn't do it purely from a business perspective. I actually thought that was a nice thing to do, but it might work out as well, like who knows. Yeah, I guess whatever you're doing, it's a good idea to, especially if you're like making things, it's a good idea to do it as cheaply as you can, which is quite difficult, it turns out. But yeah, so in terms of my process, I mentioned this earlier, but when I started drawing things, and I thought, for example, like, I need a scanner, but scanners costs like, what, 500 kroner or something, or yeah, so I thought, oh, maybe I don't need the scanner, I'll just take a good photo of it instead. And then I put that on the computer, and then I was like, oh, now I need Adobe Illustrator. That's expensive. I found like a free version, because there's free versions of all of these things, and that's what I use. I don't pay for it. With the printing of all of my posters and stuff, I started off using this famous one, Vestacopy, but they charge quite a lot of money. And then I just looked it up online. I think I asked a few people, and they said, oh, there's this little place in Vesterbro, and they charged me like a fifth of the price, and it's better quality. So I sort of, by putting effort into that and not just taking the shortcuts, and right now I'm doing a website. I guess I got that for you, so you could, so right now I'm actually making a website, and this website is free until you actually publish it, until other people start using it. It's called Cargo, and there's a few like that, I think. So I'm using this, and I'm sort of slowly building it. It's got some clothes, my beach stuff, and tennis, obviously, of course, and some cartoons. Like I said, I have a lot of these men who are doing like lots of different things. And anyway, so that one is free. And then I also found this one, which is a website that prints clothing, but it doesn't charge you for it. It's only if people buy your product, then you start having to pay a little bit of money to them. But these are all ways of starting off, I guess, when you're slowly building something up, starting off doing it basically for free. And I think that's another piece of advice I could give. Like, maybe if you're starting a business, it's not like you have to like have a business straight away. You can build these things up slowly, and maybe you can build them up in quite a cheap way while you're starting that all off. Oh, this is another opportunity. I can't remember why I included this one. This is a Danish reference, but it's this is another piece of clothing. My friend actually came up with the idea, and I made it for him. And yeah, like in terms of like networking without being scared of rejection, like I'm gonna take it round to some cafes, I think, and see if they want to sell it, because it's a pastry joke, it's Danish. Yeah. Also, yeah, this is the last thing I have on my list, but yeah, to learn from when you make a mistake. So yeah, for example, like when I was using social media the first time, I wasn't really posting things regularly enough. And then I realized that when you post things a bit more regularly, sort of more people seem to see it, or that more people get into it. There was another time I was making someone some clothing, and it was a website I used to use, and the person thought, oh, actually, like the quality wasn't really good enough on the thing I sent them. So like, instead of being offended about it, I thought, oh, maybe she's right. Maybe it's best to try and only use ones which are a bit higher quality. And I never used that website again after she said that, because I thought, okay, if you get a complaint, then don't like be too proud about it. Maybe actually try and change what you're doing. I think, yeah, when things go wrong in a sort of, yeah, not necessarily business, but work type environment as well, it can often be people being too proud and not being able to understand that they have to change their behavior. So yeah, I would also recommend that in a sort of business world. Again, Silvia, if someone complains about your lasagna, you're gonna have to say, I'll change my recipe a little bit. Unless that person doesn't like lasagna anyway, then don't listen to them. I don't like lasagna actually, so don't listen to me if I taste it and then complain about it. But yeah, I already talked about my printers, but yeah, you have to do what you can to make a profit in a way which doesn't sacrifice how good whatever you're making actually is. Because like I said, yeah, I found a printer, it was a lot cheaper, but it was also better. Like, I mean, I wouldn't have taken it if it was just cheaper, because that might completely change like how people look at your product, or whether people are actually willing to buy it. So yeah, I hope you found that interesting. I know, like, it's not like I have this big established business, but I think I'm like on the way to changing it from just a hobby into a business, building it up slowly, and hopefully like these tips of, keeping things cheap, learning from your mistakes, like really trying to find and talk to people to find like the cheapest options of doing things. Like, what's the best way of making a website? Don't just use the thing that's easy and like the obvious one. Yeah, so that's everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Owen. It was really cool. I just have a question. Maybe somebody else has it, but I'm going to go first. In terms of building or advancing your whatever you do, a business, let's call it, do you have some kind of frame? It can be time frame or maybe budget frame or any kind of something that would be similar to business plan. When you're really starting a business, you need to have a business plan that has all the steps and everything. But do you have something similar, or you just improvise while you go and you just see how things work out and then you adjust to it? Or
I think like mostly improvising with my case, but maybe that's like a bit of a luxury, because it's not like I have a time limit on making it happen. I think if I wasn't doing this on the side of working and stuff, then maybe I would give myself like a very concrete time frame of, oh, this must be done by this time. Like, just on a practical level, I use an Excel sheet just to record everything I spend, and then every time I make a bit of money. So yeah, that's just from a practical perspective, like keeping records of everything. But yeah, no, I don't have to. Luckily for me, like, I don't have to have strict time plans or anything like that.
okay. Thank you. Does anybody else have a question for Owen, or we can go on to Angela? Oh, Sylvia has a question. Sylvia and her lasagnas.
Yeah, that was a little bit analogical. We say analogic. But anyway, yeah, I have a question about the time actually. How do you plan how much time you invest in your business? Like, do you have a specific structure, or you just like day by day you see how much time you want to work on it and you just go with the flow? Because that's something that would, I don't know.
I thought you were talking about thyme, the herb, because of your lasagna business, but actually now I know that you're talking about time itself. Yeah, no, I guess that's another thing from my perspective. I don't have to have a rigid plan about it, but I guess, yeah. All right, so maybe that's useful because I do a job and some other things, and then I also have this like activity. Then yeah, I have to be quite disciplined with when I do it and being able to do that like after work and, you know, act when I can. I mean, I guess what's a bit difficult with that is then if somebody contacts you while you're doing something else that you have to do, then you have to break your routine a little bit. But yeah, I've really tried to build it around my structure that I already have. But yeah, I think it's just about sort of being disciplined about it. But hopefully if you enjoy doing it enough, then it's not really like discipline, it's just something you really want to do all the time. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Owen.
I
Oh yeah.
thinking. Well, first of all, it's really nice when I always see someone making their passion some idea to a business. So it's really nice, especially about the tennis thing. But what my question is, when I usually see people talking about online jobs, they talk about it so easily, like it's such something so easy to be done. Is it really like that? The struggles, the difficulties, for example, from your own perspective, what were the difficulties, the things that made you a delay, or the struggles, like generally?
Like what have I found difficult about it?
Yes. Yeah.
I guess it's I think it's sort of making everything connect up in a way where, so I guess I thought sometimes you think, oh, I've made all these designs, so that should be good enough. But it's like there are so many small pieces of work to actually make it happen. Like I was saying with that, right now I'm sort of working towards being able to have that website, and then for the printing company that does all the clothing and the prints to sort of automatically take the orders from it, so that I won't have to do these deliveries all myself and stuff. But the actual practicalities of setting that up is that requires a lot of patience, and I think like a lot of things will go wrong in that period. And then yeah, what can be difficult are the things you are sort of forced to pay for, which, you know, like depending on your economic situation as well, is really difficult. Like I guess I'm like relatively privileged, which enables me like a little bit of room with setting things up. But it's like, yeah, even harder for people who don't have the same means as me, which isn't even that much. So yeah, for example, like setting up a payment service for this website, that's going to cost money. You know, they're going to take money every time, and it can actually be quite difficult to make a proper profit, and also to satisfy. I think this is probably similar with a lot of businesses, but to satisfy people with the price of what you're selling, because like, even, you know, if I make a t-shirt, a high quality t-shirt with like organic material, and like I've done the design and I've put it on there, and then it's delivered, but then still people kind of expect it to be like 200 krona or 150 krona, but it's very difficult to make it like that. So yeah, to actually still be making a profit, I think takes a lot of thinking and like trying things, like getting them wrong, finding a new system to do it a little bit more cheaply. Yeah, so those are the kind of things that have been difficult, and they still are difficult. Also, yeah, getting rejected, you know, like a lot of the time you send it to people and you think, oh, this is going to be great, and for some reason they're not interested at that time, or yeah, so you have to, those are probably like 3 things which are difficult. I think our host has gone off there. She's gone.
Lucia has a question, but she is going to join me to ask you from here.
What about the administrative background in Copenhagen? Like, do you need to have actually like official permission to do something?
I think like that depends like how big you get, right? So like when I'm doing this website right now, because now I've got a website and I'm selling slowly more things, I have to get like a CVR number and register as a business, which maybe Angela can tell you a bit more about. But like, yeah, but from what I've heard, that like this is actually quite an easy process in Denmark compared to other places, setting up a CVR. I mean, like, because like most of the time, the things like while I've been building it up, it's usually to people, like selling it to people like within my network and stuff like that. And the sales, like the money involved isn't big enough to meet the threshold of the CVR. But like soon I think it will. So I think, yeah, right now I'm working on that legal sort of administrative part of it. But luckily, yeah, I think in Denmark is probably one of the best places to be because of how easily you can do a CVR and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. No, I was just thinking like in a term of struggles, then when you have to think about taxes and everything. But, yeah.
Yeah, well, definitely that will be a struggle, but I can't tell you about how much of it yet. I'm ready, but it probably will be. Yeah.
That's a nice struggle. If you have enough money, that actually have to pay the tax. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that struggle.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, if that's all, then we can go to Angela. Angela is actually she lives in Amsterdam, so she's gonna tell us a bit. She's gonna talk from a Dutch perspective, but also she has online business, so I think she can cover that part. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Yes, I 1 second. Oh, sorry, I haven't prepared my settings to share a screen.
You should be able to share it. I think, yeah, all of the participants are able.
One second.
Or if necessary, you can send it to me, and
I just need to approve it in the system security. Just shouldn't be an issue.
Angela is a hacker in her time.
Did you learn from her, Masha? Because you're a hacker too, actually.
I'm just hacking Spotify and platforms like that. I don't do
That's already quite impressive from
my side. No, I'm recorded saying this. No.
Shall we be afraid of the hacker?
I'm not afraid, no. Until something happens.
Masha, can I send it to you really quick?
Yeah.
Because you have to otherwise restart to allow the
No problema. I'm gonna write down my email address, and or you can you upload it here, or
I can try. 1 second.
But also that's my working email address, so you can also send it there, and then I can share.
Okay, I'll say it like this.
I'm just going to put a link to setting up a CVR in the chat, just because I don't know much about it, but maybe it's still, apparently it takes less than 15 minutes. It's pretty incredible.
That's nice.
Yeah. So there it is.
Beautiful.
In English as well.
Oh, I have your present.
Yeah, it's not really worthwhile. It's just a little bit of a guideline for me, but yeah, better than nothing. Owen's was a lot more interesting than mine is. Quick warning to everyone. But yeah, basically, I think I can start slowly just to tell you about myself a little bit. I live in Amsterdam currently. I am Croatian. I come from Croatia, and I've been living here for 2 years now, where I did coding school and made a career switch and decided to become a web developer. And I currently work in a company that, surprise, surprise, does e-commerce as well. And we mostly build fashion shops as well, web shops. So I'm kind of surrounded with the e-commerce world and the online shops and all of that, which I like, which I think is interesting. I think it has a lot of potential. And I must say that last year, especially, we noticed a huge growth in the whole e-commerce industry. It was, we even built a butcher's shop, an online butcher's shop. So everyone's switching to online because people were just home alone a lot, using their computers a lot, had some extra money to spend, and online shopping made a profit. That's what I do Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And on the side, me and my sister run an Etsy shop. I don't know if you heard about Etsy before, but it's a platform that mostly specializes in craft, handmade items or vintage stuff, unique stuff. So not really something that is mass produced, but mostly for smaller businesses and smaller entrepreneurs. And the shop is a vintage clothing reseller, which means we try and find vintage clothes whenever, on flea markets, in secondhand shops, in whatever we can, and resell it, take photos of it, style it on a model, edit the photos, upload it to the shop, and wait until it sells. And that's been going on for quite a while now, and I think, in my opinion, it's doing really well for a vintage shop, because I think it's a business that cannot really scale much. You always have one piece of each item. Once it's sold, it's gone, and you go to the next one. So I think for the type of the shop it is, I think it's doing pretty well.
You can guide me through the slides. I'm currently in the first one, so
yeah, I think you can stay on that one for a little while, because I wanted to talk about the background a little bit, and the idea behind it, basically, because I think that's the most important part of starting something, is to get the idea and for the idea to really work with you. So for us, it kind of started by us always wearing vintage stuff, I don't know, redoing clothes, wearing something weird, something colorful, finding weird stuff and making it work. And we would always get compliments from people asking, "Oh, where did you get that?" And then we would say, "Yeah, this is just something we bought in a charity shop for some change, and it looks really cool. It's amazing. It's reusable. Why not?" And people would be like, "Oh, really? That was just that cheap," or something like that. So we were thinking, I mean, people are asking, everyone is commenting, and why shouldn't we try to make something out of a hobby, maybe a business, like maybe try it. It was not that much expensive to start it. Basically, you can also sell the clothes that we already had, and everything was kind of cheap. So we decided, let's try to set up a shop and see if it would go, see if it works. The initial investment is kind of just our time and some change. So let's see how it goes. And yeah, that's how it happened. It initially started on eBay, where you can also have your own shop. But as time progressed, that was I think 10 years ago, maybe more. I'm not really sure about the time, but yeah, probably more than 10 years ago. So it initially started on eBay, which was really doing well. We had quite a lot of followers, a lot of sales. It was going well, but eBay kind of tried, yeah, they started to change a little bit in a way that they started selling much more from like wholesalers, not from people person to person. Like it wasn't a marketplace like it used to be. It started to be like something like Amazon or something like that. So it started to really change in a way that it wasn't really, it didn't make sense to sell vintage clothes there, or yeah, have a vintage shop, because it was just getting drowned in all of the mass-produced stuff from China or super cheap stuff that you can find on eBay. So it was kind of becoming ridiculous. And we decided to take a little bit of a risky move and to switch to a completely different platform, which meant losing all of the customers and everything that was set up over there. And also, yeah, all of the reviews, everything, which is extremely important. Reviews are, I cannot stress enough, they're extremely important. That's, yeah, something that I think a new business really should strive to get as many reviews as possible, as fast as possible as well. So yeah, we decided to switch from eBay and move on to Etsy, which was more specialized for what we were doing. It also had a lot of different shops already there. So we kind of took that little risk and tried it, and it paid off at the end. We're still using it. It's going very well. It's cheaper than eBay. Yeah, in every aspect, I think we're very happy with the switch, and I think if we stayed on eBay as well, it wouldn't last long. So it was really good timing. And yeah, basically what we do is sourcing these vintage pieces and reselling them. That's a really, really niche kind of market. So not all of the advice that I have or all of the experiences that we have maybe relates to everyone, because yeah, we just have one piece that we need to sell. We're not a shop that sells hundreds of thousands of the same shirt to hundreds of thousands of people around the world. We sell one amazing coat from the 1980s to one person somewhere who is going to really love that coat and wear it for 10 years or something like that. So some of the advice, yeah, are really just our experience and what we learned that works for us. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to be useful for everyone, but I'm going to share anyways. Yeah, so for that reason, especially, everything we do, we kind of do a trial and error thing. We see what we would want as a customer, what would work for us, and we try to apply it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that's, for me, the only way to kind of progress, because neither of us have any business training or any special experience or anything. So everything we do and everything we try to implement into the business or try out is completely our own creativity, our own ideas. And yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I think the risk is always, it's always good to take. What else? Yeah, for example, I don't have a lot of advice on branding and marketing and stuff like that, because that is not something we really invest a lot of our time in, just for the reason that we don't really have a brand. So it's a vintage shop. We don't really have a specific, we do have an aesthetic and a style that we try to follow, and we also have a lot of customers that are returning for that specific reason. And of course, trying to keep the products at top quality at all times, trying to keep the prices realistic. But I have a comment about the prices. Actually, that's one of those things that works for us, but maybe doesn't work for everyone else. Is it proved to be like more useful to put a realistic price, not go too cheap. So if you're selling something, be realistic about it. put a price that you feel is fair. Maybe it is a little bit more than the market value or something like that, but for us it really worked well, just because I think to people it also seems more authentic, and they know that that is the value and they're willing to pay for it. And since it's a vintage piece, there's always going to be someone who is going to show up and maybe want it. And those are pieces who also do not really get out of fashion, so we don't really have to do things like I don't know, summer discounts or this and that, because yeah, this is just a piece that is there, and we don't mind if it stays on the shop for longer. So these are all kind of like things that we do that maybe in a different type of business wouldn't be really a useful advice, so heads up on that. But yeah, I can say a few words about the differences of using a marketplace or a platform that is already pre-made versus building your own web shop, your online shop. The comparison kind of comes from the business, our own business, and my experience working as a web developer in an e-commerce company. And yeah, I kind of made a little comparison there from the experience. I think you can go to the next one, Masha. Yeah, I'm just. So basically, a platform is a marketplace where you just open your shop within that platform with all other shops that kind of do the similar thing. I already talked about Etsy, which is for crafty stuff, for handmade stuff. Some other examples that are like internationally known is eBay and Amazon, but also every country has their own smaller version of a platform of sorts. The upsides are that it's a pre-made structure, which means you just upload your photos, you upload your prices, you upload some details in fields that are already pre-made for all of that information, all of that data, and it just shows up online and it works. You don't have to worry about anything. It's very straightforward. So super simple, super quick to start. And if you really want to get going really quick, I think this is something to use. They also have already a customer base, which they utilize their search tools and everything for you. So you really don't have to worry about anything but upload your stuff and yeah, hope that someone likes it. The downsides are that there are fees. So usually they charge you a fee to list an item, and also once it sells, a percentage of the sale go to the platform itself, which sometimes can be a lot of money, especially if you start selling a lot. Then at the end of the month, it accumulates to an amount that is, yeah, when you think about a year of these expenses, you could have built a really beautiful web shop for yourself, by a professional company or something like that. So that is not that good. And also all that large customer base also goes to a large competition, because you're not the only shop using that platform. There's thousands of other people doing the same thing and trying to get the same customers. So yeah, a downside that is a pretty important one as well.
Can I stop you here? Can I ask you, if somebody asked you to put all the pros and cons and actually decide on which way is better to go with, would you be able to say yes, it's better to have your own place where you can actually pay somebody to do it the way you want to have it, and then, you know, have not to spend the money on the fees and competition or whatever, or it's still depending on the case?
I would take a lot of different things into consideration. I would first think about what you're trying to sell, what the product is. For us, I don't think it would make sense to have an online shop, because we only have one of each kind, so we are not reproducing the same thing. Yeah, I think for us, a platform is perfect, but it really depends on what you're trying to sell. I think there usually the having your own online shop, I would prefer that always. For I would say 90% of different items or products that you could sell. But for this specific that we do, I don't think it would be useful. It would be more of yeah, it's just about the branding and all the marketing, and we don't have that kind of, we're not building that kind of personality, and so for us it doesn't make any sense, I would say. But usually I would like Owen is doing, like I would go that way. I would try to make it myself for a first version, something really cheap, something really cheap or free, like as low as it can go, and my time being like the biggest expense, like trying to do as much as I can myself. We have access to internet, we have access to so many things. It just takes time, and I feel like nowadays anyone can basically start a small online shop with almost none of like IT knowledge or any special skills in that field. You can really easily use one of the services that they're offered as a templating system, where you just drag and drop stuff on a page and it shows up in a website. So we really have all of these amazing tools that, yeah, I would definitely like go that route if I was selling something else.
Yeah, that was actually my second question. Are you saying that just because you're a developer and you are actually maintaining online shops, so you think or you know that it's easy, but then you answered it already? So yeah, okay. So I think we can go on.
I also have a question, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, Sylvia.
Yeah, because it's like bothering in my head, because you said that you are running it with your sister, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you guys live in the same place?
No, she's in Croatia, and she's more the creative type of person. So she's annoyed by computers. She's annoyed by all of these things. I do the photo editing. I do all the online part of it. And she actually, yeah, we both kind of search for clothes, but she does it much more now because, yeah, she just has more time. She's in the business 100% of the time. Well, since I have my job, I cannot really participate that much. So I work on the weekends. I work when necessary, more or less. I mean, I check the shop every day. I'm always online on it, knowing what's happening. And the photo editing happens when we have photo shoots. So it's not every day, it's not every weekend. It's maybe one weekend a month. I take one whole day and I work on that. So yeah, and she's like the creative force. She thinks about clothes, she thinks about styling, she thinks about the setting of everything. She changes it up. So she really runs that part, and also the shipping, because the clothes is there, and I cover the online part of it. Yeah, the boring part.
Okay, so the clothes are actually in Croatia, like you
They're
store
actually
them there.
Croatian.
Okay,
Yeah,
so she was also like shipping, like sending the clothes to people that buy, and
yeah,
okay.
that's what she does. Yeah.
All right, cool.
And I have another question. Do you think that only one person could do this, both jobs at the same time?
Yes,
or you need to have?
Yeah, if you're
I know she's chaotic a bit and she's a bit disorganized. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if somebody like you, who is really organized and structured, could do both.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think I definitely would, and it's not something that you have to be working on every day. Once you have these products, once you have the photos, once you have it ready to go, that's it. Kind of nothing you have to do but check your web shop, respond to customers, respond to any questions, ship stuff once a day if you're lucky, if you're selling daily, so you're shipping daily, which, yeah, you're hoping to have these troubles. So yeah, I think definitely one person can handle it easily, yeah.
Okay.
Of course, if you invest some time to learn some skills, like yeah, I do the photos in Photoshop, for example, and it took me some time to learn. When I opened it the first time, I didn't know how to save a photo in it, and now I do I don't know, 20 photos in half an hour, and I just go through it. It's really quick. But the first time I spent one day on one photo, and the end result was terrible as well. So I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna take some time. But yeah, that's how it goes. It's trial and error, and if you don't try, you're never gonna know how to do it. And yeah, YouTube tutorials also.
Special disclaimer.
Lots
okay.
of yeah.
Thank you.
And I think we can go to the next one, which is, I think, also the last one. But I also already said something about it. If you want to make your own web shop, these are some of the services that are like the most popular ones. for a small business that could, if you have to, you can do it yourself. So it doesn't require like IT knowledge or anything special to set up a small simple shop that doesn't look really extra, but it does what it's supposed to do, which is have items and sell them. So the upsides, as I said, I think fees are lower or non-existent sometimes even, and the costs after the initial setup, but that initial setup can cost you some money depending on which way you go. So that's something to think about if you are trying to keep the business going for a long time, or if you are already had a small shop for some time, let's say on a platform of sorts, or a really, really bad one that you kind of made yourself. Like if your business is starting to take off, then it might make sense to consider investing some money or some time to make something a little bit better using one of these platforms. Using one of these, I don't even know how to, Shopify or WooCommerce or WordPress or Wix. These are all kind of like tools that you can use to make websites and web shops. Yeah, that was basically it. I don't know if I wanted to talk about anything else or give any other advice. Something that I always like to do is to research a lot. I think we can find almost all information we need online, and even if you have an idea, I think research is crucial to see if anyone else is doing it, how they are doing it, if they're doing well, if it's possible to do what you're thinking about, all of these things. That's something that I think it's super important and really useful as well. Making a plan and sticking to it, that's something that's very underrated, because a lot of people would come to us, for example, and say, oh, you just go to a thrift shop, buy something really cheap and then sell it really expensive. Anyone can do that. Why making a little bit of a joke as about the business itself. But no, I don't think anyone can do it, because not all the people are as persistent or as patient, because of course the beginning was not as good as it is now. There was no one buying anything. The photos look bad. There was no model. The clothes was only on a cheap dummy doll, and it took some time until it took off and became something better, something that we're proud of. So the persistence is really, really important, and patience, and even if nothing works for a while, you just keep on doing your thing and believing in your idea, and just invest your time and invest in your passion, and I think the result will definitely come.
Nice. I've known you for a long time, and this is maybe the most inspirative thing I heard from you ever. It's really it was really nice to hear you talking about this, because I know about the business and we often talk about it, and I often see you editing the pictures and everything, but once you put it like this in a nice story, then it sounds really impressive. So
usually she sees me editing photos on a Saturday and cursing or something. Fun, but
Nice. Okay, so does anybody have any more questions for Angela, maybe? Or she was clear enough, I guess, in her lecture.
I do. So many questions.
Go for it.
Like, it might sound like odd questions, but I mean, you started the business because you really liked vintage clothes, right? How do you sell things that you are like yourself and you don't buy it for yourself all the time? You see what I mean?
How do we sell? I have a big problem with that, but at the same, like we get a piece. I don't know. I can show you actually. Do you want me to share the screen a little bit to show you how the Etsy dashboard looks and how the shop looks? That's something.
Yes, please do it.
Oh, but I can't.
I can.
I can send a link. Yeah. But yeah, like I'm gonna show you a code that I think is amazing, amazing. But at the same time, we did the research and we checked. Yeah, of course, after years of doing that and buying things and selling things, you know, instantly once you see something, if it has value, if it doesn't have value, what the approximate value of it is. With years of that, you really get an eye for these things. So yeah, I know if something is really expensive, for example, if I see it, I'm like, oh, this is a great piece, and I need to research it a little bit, but I know the range where we can price it at. And for example, we saw there's this code that I love so much. I'm really usually not for fur and stuff like that, but this one is really amazing. But at the same time, yeah, it's just clothes at the end of the day. So if it's like a nice price for it, I think selling it is a reasonable decision.
Yeah, but vintage clothes once when you just started, it wasn't really that popular, at least not in Croatia or
No,
I mean,
not at all.
people were buying things in secondhand stores, but not as they do today. And a lot of younger people didn't even know about secondhand stores or anything.
Not just that, but yeah, people would like compliment you, and then you would say it's secondhand, and then they would be like, really? And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, really, it's amazing. Look at it. For sure, why not? So
But is it harder in the sense that today, because the sustainability became such a big topic and everybody's trying to buy secondhand, is it harder actually now that more people are actually selling and buying secondhand?
No, I actually think there was a time I think maybe like 7-8 years ago when it was a really big hit for some reason. Vintage clothing online buying, that was a huge hit. We were featured also on a few like fashion websites and stuff like that, and some I wouldn't say celebrities, but famous people kind of wore some of the stuff. So yeah, I don't know, it was a trendy thing at the time. Like it was trendy to be a little bit edgy and wear vintage and stuff like that. It was just starting. Now it's, I think, a really normal thing that in fashion, especially, yeah, why not? But when we just started, it definitely wasn't as popular as it is now, or as it started to be right after. So it was a really difficult time to kind of try and make a business out of something that most people were thinking it was ridiculous. But that's where the perseverance comes, and being consistent and believing in your idea and believing that you have something good going on, and just keep it going. And if you have a little bit of luck, I think something will come out of it.
Yeah, I mean, we started in 2000 and maybe 7-8 to buy in secondhand stores. There was only one of them in our town, and everybody, as she said, like everybody was asking about the clothes, but once you would tell them that it's from secondhand store, they would have such a weird reaction. And now, if something is not from a secondhand store, you're like, oh wow, you're buying in H&M. Like, do you know how bad they are for the environment and things like that? So I really admire people that recognize the potential in something that nobody really, doesn't see it, and then you just develop it through the years. So
yeah,
let's hope that tennis world will also recognize the need for tennis art and Roger Federer will one day order a painting from Owen.
That would be so cool.
I mean, it could happen, it could happen.
That would be very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's 7:10, but we had a nice session, I would say. Thank you to Angela, thank you to Owen for giving us your time and a little bit of effort into your presentations and talking about your business. If any of the participants have any questions, final questions, you can ask them now, or if you think about something later, you can get in touch with us or Owen and Angela directly. I will send up a follow-up email as always. I think that's it then. Sylvia, you have anything to add, or?
I opened the link that you shared on the chat. I don't know if you wanted to show us something in specific, or
no, nothing in specific. Just maybe to show the the
Okay.
general style and what it looks like. And yeah, you can see a little bit, but yeah, it's fine. The link is there, so anyone who is interested
Okay.
can check it out.
It was just a
Okay,
simple
see.
promotion. Don't worry.
Yeah, okay, sorry, because I never used Etsy before, and this is the first time that I see it. So I didn't see like the industry, like your actual shop there. So I was a bit confused. But
Oh
yeah.
yeah. They have a really simple interface, so nothing crazy, nothing. It doesn't really look like a special shop. It's just more like a little chapter in their thing. So yeah, it's very
But
simple.
yeah, also on a global scale, what we were just talking about, Etsy was also kind of a little bit of it was like a little bit I don't know, it had a weird start. Only people who had their handcrafted
Yeah.
things were selling there, and whenever you would mention Etsy, people would usually connect it to this like kind of unique like handcrafted things or whatever, and now it's this huge site. I mean, I think that pretty much, yeah, most of the people even heard about it, or if you don't know what they do. So another good example.
Yeah, exactly. And we switched to it kind of in the time when I think the idea about Etsy was more that it was like where grandmas sell what they knit, or something like that, like super, super low scale. And we decided to switch because we had a good feeling about it. And yeah, we didn't really feel happy with eBay anymore. And it was a great decision, also a little bit risky, but yeah.
Are there any platforms for this kind of marketplace today that are not that big and that are just starting, or?
I cannot think about any of like from the top of my head. I know like some like country wise. I don't know about Denmark. I'm sorry, maybe I should have done a little bit of a research on that.
Okay.
But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I can do it and I can send it to afterwards.
No, it's okay. No, I was just thinking, yeah, also I can't really think of any that are, because I feel like today that I don't know, everything has a big start from the beginning. It's not like before when just a small number of people is talking about it. I feel like today there's bigger audience for anything immediately, like automatically, because there's more presence. But yeah, just
yeah, but at the same time there's like so much more competition, and because
Mhm.
everything is so online and everything is so public and everyone is trying to do something, there's like so much to see and people can just get easily overwhelmed and you can get really lost in all of it. So yeah, I genuinely think you really need to stay true to your vision and true to what you're trying to do, and just keep on pushing and keep on doing it, and after a while it really will pay off.
Okay, nice. On that note, we can conclude the session. It was really nice ending. So yeah, I hope to see all of you soon. I hope you stay safe, take care of yourself and each other. And that will be it for today.
Thank you, Owen and Angela.
In my eyes to say
Thank you.
sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you again, and for Angela, because in June I will have my first certificate of web development. So this was a very
Awesome, congratulations.
so it was a really nice idea actually to hear this from you, because now in Denmark I'm very new and still I don't have my residency. So this was a very nice idea to work on for myself, to my development skills, and to be in the network as well. So thank you. It was really nice to hear this idea as well, and thank you cross-border team again. It was a really nice session again.
No problem. And also I will leave the contact to you, Angela's contact, if that's okay with you. So yeah, because we couldn't today talk that much about that side of her, like her official work, where we went more into the online business, but she has, both perspectives and experience in both now. You've been there for 2 years, right, in the company, and she can tell you all about her beginning, which was not that easy, and especially being a woman in that business and everything that comes up with it. So you two can also connect some time and just
I'd love to. Yeah, you can add me on anything. Masha has all of my information, so I would love to. If you have any questions or anything, I'd love to help out.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay. So if this is it, then this will conclude our session today. Yeah, thank you to everybody for coming. It was a lovely 2 hours spent.
Indeed, indeed.
Thank you for organizing it.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.